Okay, yesterday I talked about the comparison between where Italy was and where Korea was at similar stages to where we were yesterday. So when we're all around the 4,000 case mark, Italy's growth spread rate behaved like this, and Korea did a fantastic job when they were at 4,000 case. There was this red line here. And I've said that Australia, okay, looking forward, will be somewhere in between Italy's measures and what Korea's measures are. So we'll be halfway in between there, and we'll get down to a rate to around 3%, right, from where it is now, which was closer to, we started above 20. So I've imported this assumption in, which is critical, and we're going to make the assumption that we'll stay at this low rate for the rest of the year. So let's see what that does. So I've brought that into this data. So it quickly drops down based on the social measures now and the total reduction to around the same sort of level. This is the sort of numbers that we're getting, right? So today we're back up here and it's modeling quite well. So we're saying, you know, the official number for yesterday was 4247. I'm saying 4283, so it's about 1% off, with death cases around 13.4 yesterday, 16 today. Now, another interesting development was that we have the 3,400 new hospital beds, which is a fantastic news, and make a huge impact. And also we're saying that, even more importantly, that ICU beds will raise to 4,400. All right, so I've put that in as well. So the current levels were 60,000 beds and 2,229 ICU beds, and that will grow to 94,000 and 4,400. And I'm saying that that will be done over the year. So I'm saying it's a linear. That's 60,000 beds, and I say by the end of the year we'll get to 94,000. And similarly, I'm saying that we're going to go from 2,400 to the peak over here at 4,400, right? So that's going to make a huge difference particularly when you see that this line would have typically crossed into the ICU bed necessity, and now we're going to have beds available in both cases by the time this peak occurs. So now we've got the peak. This is totally in hospital, requiring hospital, and the peak now is, given that growth rate, won't happen all the way till December, 2nd of December, requiring 56,000 people in hospital, but by that stage we'll have 89,000 beds. Similarly, same peak goes for ICU beds, and importantly we'll have 4,400 ICU beds. Now that is the best case scenario, because that was normally down here. If it was down here at 2,400, everyone above the line is nearly 100% mortality without incubation in ICU. So big result there. So that's the growth rate. Now the numbers will look like this. Again, total people in hospital over time. Peak December, before dropping off, and deaths will come up and start plateauing around the 80,000 mark, given that the current mortality rate is 3%. This may change based on some factors around viral drugs, etc., that may come into play in the interim, but this has come down massively because we've got access to hospital beds, which is a big predictor in this number, and we're spreading this out long enough so these social measures are all working, and we'll push it out to there. Now, what the problem is going to be is that's assuming that we're maintaining these levels of social distancing and lockout, etc., for the rest of the year, right? That's going to have a huge impact, right? That's going to be difficult to achieve. The same levels of practicing all this safe and lockout from from schools and the rest of it. If we go back to business as usual, it's going to start picking up the numbers again. So that's one caveat. The other thing is we might get better at treatment, but I think it just really got to do with hospital access and etc. So here are the main things. Peak now December, total deaths around 90,000, tapering off in a year. That's April, around April next year, right? But at that point in April, the cases per day are going to be right down here, and you can see the rate of increase of deaths really starts becoming not so significant as up this linear curve here, where they start dropping off through crowd immunity more than anything else. Again, we've got a good gap here between requiring hospital and access to beds, the key thing which is kicked in here. Hope you have found this useful.